So then we talk about sauces. Sauces comes into different categories also. We have the emulsion sauces, and then we have the hot sauces and cold sauces. So emulsion sauce are things like mayonnaise, for example. Emulsion means you have two ingredients that is not normally mixed together, such as oils and water, or oil and vinegar. Vinegar content is mainly water. So the egg yolk, being a protein, it binds the actual fat from the oil, and then this in turn encapsulates the water particles of the vinegar. Then it emulsifies, so it stays together as opposed to splitting or curdling. So then from your mayonnaise you can create derivative sauces such as aiolis, and you can make things like Thousand Islands, you can make things like cocktail sauces, you can make lots of different kinds of varieties of mayonnaise. Then you have your yogurt sauces such as your tzatziki, or if you go to Indian restaurants, then similar to tzatziki you have a raita. You have things like teriyaki sauce, or you have a hot sauce that gets poured on the pasta such as bolognese sauce. Some sauces from Asia countries include things like satay sauce from Thailand or from my country in Indonesia. Then you also have a hot emulsion. This is the hollandaise sauce. Again, the principle of making it is the same like making a mayonnaise. You've got two ingredients, you bind them together. The only difference is you're going to put it on top of a water bath, which will create a warm ambient temperature, partially cooking your ingredients, which means that this has to be kept for only 2 to 4 hours because of the danger zone factor. The hollandaise is always kept at that 30 to 40 degree temperature, which means it's the optimum temperature for bacteria to grow, as you know, because danger zone is between 5 to 60. So from the hollandaise we get classics like eggs benedicts and eggs florentine, and then you can also create derivatives from the hollandaise, such as, for example, a béarnaise sauce, which is good for fish or possibly with a steak. Then you have other cold sauces such as fruit coulis. You might have a tomato relish, or you might have an apple sauce that you can use for your pork dish. Cranberry sauces may be also another fruit dish that is classical with your turkey dish. And then other sorts of varieties such as your hot sauce coming from your beef stock. This gets reduced into your brown stock, turned into your demi-glace, and then your demi-glace can further go into your sauce espagnole, for example, with added ingredients and added mirepoix to continuously deepen it. And you add some red wine to bolden the flavors. You add some tomato paste again to enrich the flavors. Two of the common sauces that you might find in a classical restaurant is your jus de roti and your julie. The difference between the jus de roti and the julie is that the jus de roti is your pan juice. When you roast the product, the meat for example, you have all that liquid dropping to the bottom. This is your roasting juice. If you were to enrich this with your brown stock and thicken it with your roux, then you would call this your julie, or sometimes called gravy. So this covers your stock soups and sauces, from your foundation stocks and your foundation soups and your foundation sauces and the derivatives that come with it. So from these stock soups and sauces, then we make sure that we use the correct garnishes I mentioned before. Maybe use a crouton for your minestrone and your chopped parsley, and also making sure that you use the right service way. So when you serve your soup, make sure it's in the right soup bowl, otherwise it will be all over the table. If you're sharing your sauces, make sure you put it in the right service way, such as ramekins. So I'll see you in the kitchen to do your recipes, and happy cooking!